And we are live. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is a special episode of the Hangout. This is episode 65. I only know that because I number all of my thumbnails. But anyway, this is the live stream, or this is the show we do every Thursday about 7 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about comics. We do comic book reviews. We'll talk about news, and sometimes we get to interview comic book creators, such as we're going to do in this episode right here. So this is the official Black Cotton Volume 2 Kickstarter launch party. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But if you're watching this on the replay, thank you. Like I said, we do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully you can catch us live next week. And if you're here in the chat, if you're here live right now, go ahead and say what's up so that I know you're here. Doug's here. He says, Happy Thursday, everyone. Rupert's here, says howdy who. Howdy who poo. Is that how that's going, Rupert? Bunkmaster B checked in early. I think he got the words confused, thought it was a lunch party, but it's a launch party. And Kev's here. Oh, Kev, you're here early. Normally you check in a little bit later on your break. Good to see you, sir. Geek Collective's here. It says Black Cotton. Black Cotton, sir. So yeah, man, it's a great day. And we got a great show planned. I am sipping on tea because my daughter caught a cold earlier this week, and I think she's passed it to me. So if you see me reaching off to the side, it's because I don't like putting liquids near my computer. So it's on a whole different little desk over there. But anyway, super excited to have you guys here. Before we get any deeper into the show, I got to give a couple of shout outs. First to the channel family, you guys with the badges in the chat who contribute a little bit each month to make sure the lights stay on over in the Comics Are Dope library. I appreciate you guys all for supporting the channel. And another shout out to our channel sponsor, Organic Priced Books. They're the best place to go online for collected editions if you're looking for graphic novels, trade paperbacks, omnibus editions, stuff like this Bitterroot hardcover that I've had on my desk for the last month. You can find that at pretty heavy discounts on organicpricebooks.com. And if you use my coupon code BJKicks, you'll save about $2 at checkout. So thank you, OPB, for supporting the channel. Now, let's get back to this chat. Afro Sci-Fi is back. He says, hey, BJ Kicks, great to catch you live. Can only watch for half an hour. Midnight in the UK will watch the playback. Yo, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That's dedication to stay up until midnight just to watch us talk about comics. But I appreciate it a lot. So real quick, I do want to get to some normal segments that we do here. Typically, I'll show off some recent pickups, but then I realized I didn't pick up anything this week. I picked up my normal pull list, but I didn't grab any extra covers or anything like that. So those are the recent pickups. Now, let's jump over to the review of the week. Now, because we've been dealing with this little sinus infection or whatever my daughter's got going on, I'm late on reading my pulls. So I've actually got a book here that I read from last week's releases, but I just read it earlier today. This is The Ambassadors, issue number 2 from Mark Millar and Carl Kerschel. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. So The Ambassadors, it's a series. Basically, the premise is this scientist figured out how to give humans superpowers. And instead of like selling them to the highest bidder or, giving them away in charity, she's decided she wants to like host like a Willy Wonka style competition and choose the people who are going to get the superpowers through that, basically. And so here in issue 2, we get introduced to her first sort of candidate for the ambassadors program. He's a kid named Bitty, I believe it's Bitty, from India. And so there's an event that happens where Bitty basically proves his worth. And then, he wakes up, not Bitty, Binu. And he wakes up and he's in the ambassador program, basically, is how that goes. I'm trying to give you all the information I can give you without spoiling it. What I love about this is the art. because each issue of the Ambassadors is drawn by a different artist. Issue 1 was Frank Quitely, issue 2 is Carl Kerschel, and then issue 3 that I just started features the first interior artwork by Travis Charest in like 24 years, according to Mark Millar. So each issue has a very different look and feel, which is dope. It kind of, the way I read it is almost as like a series of one shots, but they're definitely interconnecting. They're definitely telling a story that you want to read all together. But like I said, because the art is so different, it feels like different books each time. But what I've also noticed is that Mark Millar is kind of changing his tone in the writing to sort of match the tone of each artist. So where Carl Kerschel's art is very like fun, it almost looks like an animated series. Um, there's a lot of jokes in here. Like this book is funny. And in issue 3, it's not, honestly, it's not all that funny. Neither was issue 1. It wasn't really meant to be funny. So I thought that was cool, like that he's making the writing style sort of match or play well with the artist as he's going along. So really cool stuff there. As far as issue 2 of the Ambassadors, honestly, I didn't really have anything that I'd say is wrong with it. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Pretty good comic book. Issue 3 I haven't finished reading yet, so I've got no rating for that. But that's pretty much it for the review of the week. Marco's here. He says, "What's good? Appreciate what you do." Says it reminds him of a mix between Umbrella Academy and Willy Wonka. So I've never read Umbrella Academy, but that makes sense from what I know of the franchise. Bunkmaster B's arrived. He says, "What's up, all you fiends?" And Tim's here. He says, "What's up? I made it. Hope I didn't miss much. You just missed my review of the Ambassadors issues 2 and 3, or partially issue 3. And you missed me shouting out the sponsors. So you were not responsible for paying the bills." I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, so now that we've got that out of the way, then we're going to go ahead and jump straight into our main feature. We've got some special guests in the house today. We've got one here backstage, got another that's going to join us here in just a second. But if you have been familiar with the channel for a while, then you know that I've been covering a book called Black Cotton. Basically, ever since the first issue came out, my man Kev Koss gifted me a copy of issue 1. And so I subscribed to the series, read all the issues, and got to know the writers, which was really cool. So we've got Brian Hawkins and Patrick Foreman here. And actually, Patrick's here right now. How's it going, man?
What's up, brother? What's up? Black Kind.
Black Cotton.
Good to be back, man.
Man, I'm excited to have you back. And Ross is here in the chat. He says, "Whoa, is Black Cotton coming back?" Oh,
Oh, definitely. Matter of fact, well, I'll let you. We get into all that.
yes, sir. Black Cotton is absolutely back. And it's back in a big way. So I was gonna wait for Brian to come through, so we can do this announcement all together. And I guess I will do that. So for while we're waiting, I'll tell you guys who haven't read Black Cotton what it's all about, right? So it's in this alternate reality where the social order of white and black are reversed, right? So black people are, I wouldn't want to call them the dominant species, right? But they're the majority, right? Black people are the majority. Black people have, basically been the foundation of America, right? So in the way that you have the Rockefellers or the Kennedys, there's this family called the Cotton family, who is old money as they come.
Right.
And their son decide, or one of the sons decides to be a police officer and finds himself in a bit of trouble because he shoots an unarmed minority woman, in this case, a white woman. And all sorts of calamity ensues from there. It's family drama. It is equal parts, maybe not equal parts, but it reminds me of some of the drama that I remember from like soap operas when I was a kid, like All My Children and the Quartermains and all those, right?
Right. Right.
There's that, but there's also just the racial dynamic and just the social commentary, because all these things are sort of flipped on their head, and it kind of makes it more striking when you see racism and injustice and prejudices taking place. It's not necessarily central to the book. It's not like it's a book necessarily about racism. It's kind of a book about the world as we know it, and everything that happens in the world that we know happens there too, just kind of in reverse. But because it happens in reverse, it's really striking when it does. So the first volume of this book basically follows the immediate aftermath of the shooting and leading up to this basically this grand jury investigation. Is he going to be indicted? Is he going to face charges? What's this going to mean for the family business? Like, is this a stain on the family? And then also, how's the victim? How is she
Right.
impacted by all this? So volume one of Black Cotton is great. So it's written by Patrick Foreman and Brian Hawkins, and with art by Marco Perugini. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, you are. Yep, Marco
Awesome.
Perugini.
Awesome. So, and it's really good. It's really good. The volume one of the series is done in black and white and almost like a watercolor looking style. It's kind of like a real minimal style, um, which is really cool as well. And it was just one of those books that I read, and it really just kind of, it was so different from anything else I was reading at the time. I just kind of became enamored with it. I was like, yo, man, this is awesome. As a matter of fact, um, where we at? My copy of volume one is right here. Right. So, I don't want to say a champion of the series, like I'm some important person, but I'm definitely try to, shine a light whenever there's something dope that comes across my radar. And Black Cotton has been that. And speaking of, Bunkmaster B says the Black Cotton title box from Scout is beautiful. Such a great story.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Bunkmaster B is all about those Scout boxes. He showed them off on his channel recently.
You can find some gems in them, to be honest, because those title boxes, they take variant issues, they
Mhm.
take scarce issues, they put medals inside sometimes. So you can find some real gems inside those title boxes. Plus, you get 1 through 6. So you have the whole series, inside the box.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a good deal. It's a good deal. It's good for you if you're just a reader. It's good for you if you're a collector. It's good for those people that love like mystery boxes. It's good for all of those different things because again, you're gonna get the full story, but you don't know which covers you're gonna get. They might be
Right.
more collectible, more rare, or not, or maybe they're just dope covers. Um, Ross says, "Dope. I just put my brother onto Black Cotton. Loved it from the first issue. Reminded me of the
Appreciate
movie A White Man's Burden."
Oh, we can talk about that.
Right.
We can definitely talk about that. So, you wanna talk about it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because when we first, came out with, Black Cotton, a lot of people started mentioning that, movie, with, John Travolta and, Barry, what is it? Barry, dang, Belafonte?
Oh,
Harry
Harry Belafonte,
yeah, Harry
R.I.P. He just
Belafonte.
passed yesterday.
Yeah, and, me and Brian had never seen it. So we was like, "Man, we gonna have to check out this movie people keep talking about."
Mhm,
And here's the beauty that I see, the difference between Black Cotton and, A White Man's Burden. A
mhm,
White Man's Burden is a great work of art, with phenomenal actors and actresses, inside it. My biggest dilemma with the movie was that they did exactly that. They just flipped everything.
mhm,
So it's like you just take, what's white and put black on it and you just flip it.
mhm,
And in that retrospect, John Travolta, to me, his character couldn't really be true simply
mhm,
because I was like, he's doing stupid stuff.
mhm,
And so now, are you telling me, as a black person who is supposed to identify with that character, Are we just stupid? Because
Mm,
at the end, why didn't he drop the gun? You know,
yeah.
they're at the end of the movie, you if you holding a gun and all these cops come up, what do you think's gonna happen? You know, it's just, too many things where we were like, or I should say when I watched that, I was like, I would do things different. And the beauty about Black Cotton is that it's not just a flip. We didn't just take what's white and make it black and what's black and make it white. It's a thought provoking comic book.
Mm,
So what you see is you actually go deeper. There's a thing that me and Brian always talked about. A lot of time cultures um they bump heads with each other because they are constantly trying to answer the question, why? Why did they do that? Why did they think that way? Why did they react that way? Well, unless you are able to truly walk in somebody else's shoes through that situation, then you get insight into, okay, that's what they were thinking. That's why they reacted that way. And that's what we tried to give to the people. We tried to give the people an opportunity to walk through other people's shoes so that they can understand or get a better understanding of why people react that way. But then also, they get the opportunity to also question some implicit biases that they might not even be aware of. Me and Brian, as we were writing Black Cotton, we constantly were
mm,
dealing with our own implicit biases. We would call each other out on it, and it was so cool because we knew if we were doing it, then the reader also was going to do it, which made us put in those key things that people got smacked in the face with. For instance, on cover number 2, when you see Elijah and Jalissa looking at the television and you see the crowd, the riot going on, and you see that one person holding up the picket sign saying White Lives Matter. We
mm,
already knew when people saw it, they were going to have a reaction. And the reaction could be, okay, I don't have a problem with that. And if you don't have a problem with it, then the cool part is then you have to address, then why do I have a problem with somebody saying Black Lives Matter,
mhm.
holding up a sign, or vice versa. So we gave the opportunity for people to have that dialogue within themselves and
Yeah.
have that moment where they can say, oh, okay, I see this. And what we love is by having that moment to yourself, what you see is when people address other people and have that conversation, they use different words
Right.
because of the empathy now that is involved in the conversation. And if more people would have conversations with empathy involved in it, just look at how much we could learn from one another. Look at how much we could actually build together with one another instead of those conversations where you're constantly either defending yourself or you're trying to get somebody to, agree with you. And it's
Mhm.
more of a debate instead of a conversation.
For sure, for sure. One thing you touched on that I want to kind of expand on a little bit is that this is like a world building comic, right? Where it's not just, you know, black people in whiteface and vice versa, right? But you guys really went the extra mile in defining just the socioeconomic status of all the people involved as well, right? And so it's not just that the Cottons are black and this the shooting victim is white, but it's like, yeah, they're black and they're like one of the most predominant families or one of the most well-to-do families in the
Right.
country. They've got this generational wealth, they've got this family name to protect, and so on. And then at the same time, it's clear that the shooting victim is made to feel like a second class citizen, is made to feel like she doesn't have a voice, she doesn't have rights. There's even a point in the book where like with most officer involved shootings, right? There's a period where you sort of go into the past and,
Right.
you try to dig up whatever you can to say, hey, look, this chick that had this run in with the police, or this person that had a run in with the police, like they weren't all that. Like they weren't some great person. Like he actually stole from a store when he was 12. So let's not go defending him like he's the patron or saint of the world or whatever, right? And
Victimize the victim.
exactly. And so you have that victim blaming going on. And when you see it in this book, you just feel so hopeless. And I think another really good aspect is that the victim is a woman. Like
Yes.
I feel like that adds another layer to it because there's a portion, and I don't want to spoil, by the way, welcome, Brian. But I never want to spoil things, but there's a point that really touched me because it's like she's dealing with the aftermath of the shooting. She's recovering physically, she's recovering emotionally, and she's, in this like sort of intimate moment with her boyfriend. And he's just like not really feeling it because of a lot of like what the media has been saying about his girlfriend, basically. And you can just see like how crushed she is by the weight of not just the shooting, but everything surrounding it and having like the weight of the machine against
Yeah.
her. And I thought
And
that was
it,
just really humanizing. I like that.
I'm glad you brought that up because the cover, and that's issue number 4.
Mhm.
Marcelo Santana did the cover for that issue, and he hit on that so well with that's the one where she's on the bed
Mhm.
and it's all this social media that's attacking her, just beating her down. And we see that. And I mean, the bullying has changed from our era where bullying was in school. You punch
Mhm.
you in your face, chase you down the hallway. I'll see you tomorrow. Same thing.
Yeah.
But now it's cyber. It is they come into your house without even stepping a foot inside your house. It's just cyber attacks. And
Yeah.
that's, what she was dealing with. She's dealing with, not only, you know, um, uh, like Facebook or, the social media sites, but also the newspaper, the television, the reporters. Yeah, it makes you think, and
Yeah.
it's true to life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, cause, we see it all the time. And, fortunately, I've not had someone in my family, you know, deeply impacted by or personally impacted by like these sorts of events. Right. But I can always empathize when I'm seeing like, well, gosh, like what does it matter that he smoked weed when he was 12? Like,
Right.
the dude got shot. Like what? But seeing it in that situation just really drove it home, like just how messed up that is that sort of things
Here,
that those sorts of things
here's
happen.
something that has always, got me, and this is something that me and Brian. That's why, like you said, she's a female, and why we did that. Trayvon Martin.
Mhm.
We put the hoodie in there for a reason. We did specific things for a reason. We made her a female in a hoodie because of a question that we pondered on. If Trayvon had been a female, would the outcome have been the same?
Mhm.
And I true in my heart believe no, because I think anybody in this world would have said that grown man was following a female, and they
Mhm.
would have registered him as a freak or some type of person who needed to be locked up.
Mhm.
But since Trayvon was a guy, they discounted his age. They discounted that he was a child.
Right.
And now going back to what you were saying, the media put his picture up and they tried to justify, well, he looked older than what he was. So what?
Right.
What does that matter? That's like saying a girl who gets, violated
Mhm.
and she's 13, 14, and you come back and say, well, she looked like she was 21.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that justifies it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I always hate when people use that example, only because I have a 13-year-old,
Oh,
and
my bad.
no, you're
Yeah.
good, you're good. It's just, but it's true. It's true. I remember I was at a barbershop one time, and there was basically that situation that played out, and it was in the news, and somebody in the barbershop said, "Well, yeah, these girls walking around like they looking like they 30." I'm like, "Yo, like that's insane." Like that you like because we can all tell what a child looks like. But anyway,
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Ross says the post that she was dealing with from social media was the equivalent of a brick being thrown through a family's window in the 60s.
Mm,
Mm.
Word.
mm.
Yeah, it's definitely like that invasion of privacy for sure. For sure. Um and then my man Danny says, I heard BJ was a bully in school, so I'm sure he understands.
Oh, wow.
That is not the case at all.
No.
Marco says social media has definitely showed us people's true colors. They feel safer saying stuff behind a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Type
Yo,
of
and black kind to everybody who in the comments, I see y'all saying black kind. I see Joey, up
Right.
in there, Geek Collective, black kind, Four Walls comments. I see all y'all, Ross Higgins. Hey, we appreciate y'all.
no
Yeah,
doubt,
man.
no doubt.
Yeah, man. So how I guess now that we're so far removed from volume one, what was the response like for you? Did it surprise you guys that people took to the series? Did you find yourself in like some dicey conversations because of like how was it?
Since Brian just got here from, being the great dad that he is, I'll let you answer
Hey,
that question.
trying, trying to. Man, yeah. It was kind of 50. Well, no, it wasn't 50-50. It was a handful compared to how well Black Cotton was received. It was a handful, of course, that terms like racist and I actually had one guy on Instagram who actually sent me a message, and he literally said that this is the worst thing that he had ever seen, and that he cannot believe that he said the platform that you've been given, and this is what you choose to do with it. I sincerely hope that you fail, and I have never wanted anyone in my life to fail more than you. I was like, damn. All right, that's
Sheesh.
that's cool. I can see that you haven't read the book, so that's fine. So I used that example to sum up that there was a pocket full, a handful of people, just because it's this flip and it's just a social order flip, which the
Mhm.
log line is very clear. We do not say a race flip; we say a social order flip.
Right.
Um, uh, that there's some stigma, that goes to that, and people automatically jump to their conclusions, have their assumptions, and a lot of people are hands off with wanting to touch on class, touch on ethnicity, culture, race, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
So we did see that, and we even saw it when we started to promote white on white crime. One person said, and I actually took a picture of it and circled it. Said, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. And I'm like, damn, all right. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get this party really started. Okay.
Right.
So it is what it is. But I think there was more people that enjoyed it, that saw it for what it was supposed to be,
Mhm.
that took to it, than those that did not. And shout out to Scout, because Scout, they published this material when
Mhm.
I believe a lot of other publishers would not have.
Right.
Um, I read an article a while back. I just reread it. When Black came
Mhm.
out, there wasn't a lot of publishers that would publish that, and they went the indie route, going to Kickstarter first. Then Black Mask jumped on. So I kind
Right.
of liken it to that situation, to where Black Mask also, took a chance with Black, and so Scout did the same for us with Black Cotton. So shout out to them.
Absolutely. It's funny. I was just about to bring that example up, right? Because when titles like this come out, right? Black is another series, an indie series, which I have
Yeah.
right here, right? So Black is a series where basically only black people have superpowers,
Mhm.
right?
And then
Boom.
And then it's got a sequel series, White, which was so in demand that I wasn't able to get it. I ended up with like a issue. I think I had like issue 3 before
Okay.
my subscription actually kicked in because they limited it. I
Yeah.
want to say to like 300 copies each, but
Small print.
anyway. Right, definitely small print run. But Black is a series where only black people get superpowers. Black Cotton is a series where, black people socially are at the top of the food chain. And I think when books like this come out that are meant to be thought provoking, a lot of the detractors or people who just are really kind of intimidated by it, they feel like the book is supposed to be like living out some sort of power fantasy, right?
Mhm.
Like they feel like if that's how it is in your book, it's because that's how you want it to be in the real world.
Very well put. Yep.
And I think that it's a difficult stigma to get through because in order to really understand the book, you have to read it. But if that's your visceral reaction, chances are you're going to run away from it. Um, and are these conversations that you're able to have, because I feel like that's such a nuanced conversation with a subject matter that's kind of really in your face, like how's that played out for you guys?
let me start and I'll let you chime in, Brian, because I want to touch on something you just mentioned. Um, and I'll preface it by asking this question: what's wrong with that? Meaning, what's wrong with individuals when they write a comic book or make a TV show or a film? What is wrong with them creating something that is a world that they wish they lived in? I find it funny because this is something that we talk about all the time, man. Did you watch Snowfall?
I did not.
I have not yet.
Okay. All right. So you probably don't even worry about it. I'm gonna give you some spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers. No. Someone
Here's
already ruined Philadelphia for me.
Listen,
Look.
I know how Snowfall ends just because it was
Hey,
all
my
up
bad,
painted
bro.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, Snowfall ending to me sucked.
Mm,
And I get that they maybe wanted to give a message or anything, but I find it funny that in Black arts, it seems like we always want to give a message or a dose of reality. It's like, why can't we end on top? Why
mm,
did his whole family have to be destroyed? Why did
Okay.
he have to lose his
There we go.
mind?
Yeah. I'm not watching Snowfall now. Not watching it. It's over.
It's like sometimes if I am being entertained, that's exactly what I want to be,
mm,
entertained. I don't want a lesson sometimes. You go into a movie theater and you come out, like feeling down
mm,
instead of filling up, feeling charged.
mm,
Look at other race movies. See how they end.
Hmm.
Slumdog Millionaire. Look how old boy ended, And
mm,
my thing is, why can't we create something that uplifts us, especially since it's us creating it?
mm.
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
guess where I would push back is in a book like this, right? The perception is that it lifts us up while putting someone else down. And, I'm of the mind that no one has to be put down. Like, you don't have to lose for me to win.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone wants to be the hero in their own story, right? So I think it's totally fine for, whoever the drug dealer is to get out unscathed, right? For like Queen Latifah didn't have to die, like she could have just got away, right? Like there's any number of stories that can have a happy ending because they're entertainment. And it's really just up to the creative vision of
Right.
whoever's putting those things into the universe to decide how they want that to go. And whether it resonates with an audience is ultimately up to the audience. um but yeah, I think it's fine to be the champion of your own story. I think in this weird world where like everything is meta commentary, but it's not really meta because it's like I'm gonna present my work to you, and I'm also going to tweet about what I think in real life, and you have to digest all of that at the same time. So then it's difficult to separate this and just look at it as a work of art.
Right.
And yeah, and along those same lines, and my bad, I know Brian, you're
Oh,
gonna
no,
want to
no, no.
chime in here,
You're
but
fine.
we were having the same conversation because I recently read John Ridley's run on Black Panther, and my consistent critique of the series was like, I mean, the storytelling is fine, but like, why is T'Challa not the hero in the story? Like, why is he not like triumphant right now? Why is it like it feels like everyone is beating up on T'Challa right now?
Right.
And Bunkmaster B actually asked me, he's like, well, does it, because it's Black Panther, does it have to have a happy ending every time? Like, is he a character that just can't go through adversity? And I'm like, you know what? That's a good question, because if it was somebody else, maybe I wouldn't be as attached and as upset at the ending or at the story. And for me, it just felt like, all right, well, this isn't the time, right? Because Wakanda Forever just came out. T'Challa's dead in the movies. And then in the comics, where I'm like, all right, well, at least the comics are the comics. It's like, well, dang, like he ain't really popping off in the comics either.
Yeah.
And so it just left a sour taste in my mouth. But I feel like I can reread that story a year, 2 years from now, and find it to be just fine, maybe even more enjoyable than the first time around. Um, so yeah, I don't feel like every story has to have a happy ending. I don't know that every story warrants a happy ending.
And I agree. I'm not saying everyone. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, man, it had what, 6 seasons, and that's what
That
we've
I
been
won't be
waiting for
watching.
the
6 seasons
whole
that I will
time.
not be watching.
It's like finally,
Mhm.
Franklin got some balls.
Okay. I feel like I don't know, because it's a John Singleton series,
Yeah,
right? And so
he passed away.
he did pass away.
Right.
But I feel like with all of John Singleton's work, it
A
kind of
mess.
leans that way. There's not
Right.
necessarily it's always like the same thing. Like, look, like this is how people are going to end up, right? Like, you know, Trey got to go to school, sure, but I mean, you see what happened to Ricky,
Right.
and that's how that goes. That's how those things go when you play in that market.
Yeah.
Um, Rider Battle says interesting perspective, especially since it gives a lot to build off of. Ross Huggins said, but Snowfall is supposed to be about the real Rick Ross.
Right. Right.
Yeah, your man called you the spoiler.
Patrick sent. I'm gonna say Patrick was the one that sent me on a Black Cotton IG the spoiler for Philadelphia. I'm like, come on, man.
Man,
I'm like,
that's
damn,
crazy.
bro. My
That's
only
crazy.
reply back was, I hate spoilers. That's all I told him back.
That is funny.
I'm like, damn. But just to add in, like, I view Black Cotton as edutainment, right?
Mhm.
Going back to KRS-One, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's meant to be thought provoking. It's meant to entertain, but it's educating as well, and it allows for your own perspective to your reality, your implicit bias to be taken into account. And as you're reading it and as you're experiencing it, you're having your own Black Cotton moments where,
Right.
are you coming to terms with something, or are you avoiding something? Only you know that. And I think, that's one of the powerful things that this creative team has done with Black Cotton is create a product, a story that allows you to really, look at yourself or not look at yourself, look at the world you're in, or not look at the world that you're in. If you want to fantasize about, man, Black people being on top, well, you can fantasize about it. If you want to take it to where, like, oh man, I'm really relating to the Nightingales and the plight that they're experiencing, you can do that as well. And I think that because it's as vast, I don't know if vast is the right word, but because it opens up that kind of potential for dialogue, we are able to have multiple conversations, layered conversations, about our world, but not only our world, but their world. And we get to see ourselves, through their world. And I think that's what a mirror is. Like we only get to see ourselves if we look in the mirror in real life. So Black Cotton is a mirror. And as we know, like all mirrors do not give 100% of exactly how you look. Do you really know that you look like that? So that's what Black Cotton is, which, is why we're journeying into volume 2 with White on White Crime and what that looks like.
I think we need to let the people know, because a lot of people, they've been, talking about they need to get volume 1 and jump on and read it. I think we need to let them know in the middle right here, that it's on Kickstarter right now. Today's the launch day. It's on Kickstarter, right now.
I've actually got something we can show the people real quick.
Cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's the trailer to volume 2 of Black Cotton, which right now is available to back on Kickstarter. So let me
and you can get volume 1 on that Kickstarter as well,
with a variant cover.
Yeah.
So right here, what we're looking at is the Kickstarter they call it a project, right? Yeah, the project for Black Cotton Volume 2, double issue. So you get issues 1 and 2 of Volume 2, and Volume 2 is called White on White Crime. So, and I'll go back to the top here. It says Kia Cotton sets her sights on gentrifying low-income neighborhoods, but is met with resistance and violence as a tragic death hinders plans. Word. So I'll let you guys talk a little bit more about Volume 2, how it came to be, and what we're looking at here.
Well, I think the first thing that you notice, Volume 1 was in black and white because it wasn't about color. It was about the words that we were saying, the expressions that Marco Perugini, infused into those characters. It was meant for you to not think of color. With this one, it's all about color. So so even from the title, White on White Crime, and it's in color, and Marco Perugini still the same illustrator on the inside. And we got Marcelo Santana, who is the colorist, so doing a phenomenal job. Just the Black Cotton team, that's what we do. But go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. And also shout out to Francisco. He came back and he's our letterer. We have Geek Collective, Joey Galvez, he's our PR guy. He's on top of everything. And Jerry Nielsen is our graphic designer. We have a full team who has helped to brought, Black Cotton Volume 1 to life, and now helping us to bring, along with everyone who joins in on the Kickstarter, bring this new volume to life. Black Cotton, White on White Crime, like Pat said, it's about color, which is why it's in color, in living color, and we chose that because we wanted this particular story to be felt a certain way. Like Pat said, volume 1 was, it was content and context, and you understood the story through a lens of it being in black and white, and going through that story in black and white, you receive it a certain way. And so we're expecting that you receive this story because it's in color a certain way. White on white crime is, of course, a play on black crime, right? But crime is crime, and victims are victims. But we get to see in this story, since social order is reversed, how it plays out, where you have a majority ruling that's in the police, the institutions, and you have the minority who are low income, struggling, and they are also dealing with crime. And you get to see how the social classes deal with that, from the exploits of the actual crime itself to Zion, who has had his own bout with the law, obviously being a lawman himself and shooting Elizabeth in the last volume. He's now on the other side, and he's trying to get justice for this slain white teen and his family, but he's meeting a lot of resistance for that. And of course, you have his sister, who is she's trying to do business. She's trying to change the neighborhood, and so they bump heads. So you see a different mix happening with the Cottons, where they're not in the same place that they were a year ago, because this one takes place a year after the events of volume 1. But you still get to see who they are and how they've grown. However, if you have not read volume 1, honestly, we wrote this to where you could actually start with volume 2. You're not going to miss a beat. But by reading volume 1, you do get the extra nuances, and you get those Easter eggs that's in there, and you get to follow the growth of the characters. But volume 2 could be standalone, and that was one of the things that we wanted to do as we were building these stories out, going even all the way to volume 4. Is we wanted to grow the characters, continue the characters, but also we wanted to tell stories, tell different events that take place within the characters' lives. So that's Black Cotton, White on White Crime.
They'll also understand what bino mean too.
Yeah, and we have some choice words, bino and bino, which is
yeah,
which in this universe is the equivalent to the N word. The N word with the ER at the end, and NIGGA. So bino would be the equal to ER, and bina would be the equivalent to NIGGA. Shout out to Tupac, NIGGA. Never ignorant, get goals accomplished. Shout out to Tupac.
Word. Now, so Patrick, I want to hit on something you said earlier, right? So, volume 1, you necessarily want people to see it through the lens of color. And I know that when I was reading volume 1, that was kind of my only complaint at times, because, and while I feel like it worked for the story, because I find myself identifying with any character in any given issue, and it kind of, when there's that absence of color, you're not looking to root for someone because they look a certain way. You just kind of have to take the actions at face value, right? But you said that this volume is all about color. What do you mean by that?
That's a
This
good
one
question.
you're going to definitely see how uh, different races treat each other, how they think about each other. Like for instance, there's a scene in there when Zion is coming up on a crime scene where
Yeah,
unfortunately a white kid has been killed,
Mhm.
but the cops, they, he's trying to get answers, and they're like, it's just another, white on white, crime, drug deal going bad, So it gives you that mentality of that they don't think of this white kid the same way that they think of a black kid,
yeah,
and they are um, unapologetic, I would say, in how they are handling the situation, because to them this is the norm. For
hmm,
them this is, so we want people to feel exactly that. We don't want them to guess. We want them going into the scene to understand, okay, these are black cops, this is a white kid, Zion, you understand, and we want you to feel all of those emotions. We want you to feel the emotions of his sister. We want you to feel the emotions of his friend who was with him. All of those emotions, we want you to feel it, and we want you to see it, because once again, it goes into what we were talking about. If an individual is able to walk through another person's shoes in the confines of a safe space
hmm,
and
Mhm.
have that dialogue with themselves first, empathy can grow, and empathy can build on that foundation. And that way, new thinking can
yeah.
happen simply through that self dialogue and
Right,
that revelation.
right.
Shout out to edutainment. Edutainment. That's what we're about.
For sure. Again, I mean, I think this book has one thing it's been really successful at is just opening up nuanced dialogue. And I think Brian, I was saying this right before you kind of jumped in to the stream, but I love how it's this series. It's layered. It's layered in a lot of ways, right? It's not just black and white. There's male female power dynamics. There are the high class versus the lower economic class,
Mhm.
and those conversations happening, um all of that. And then you even have like generational stuff, right? You've got like the one kid who's a lot younger who just wants things to be a different way, and
Yeah,
he's
James
fighting
Haden.
for that, with the public enemy posters and all that, right?
yeah,
So I love that there's so many different angles to the story, so many different threads that can be explored. And speaking of, right, so the story continues a year after the events in volume one. So Zion is made detective, and so we're seeing in real time, just how these officer involved shootings tend to play out,
yeah,
where there's not really any there's no get back. They don't really
Accountability.
get theirs. You know what I'm saying? This is business as usual. They might get a promotion. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
So now Zion's a detective. He's working a murder case. Most of the department's chalking it up to just more white on white crime, but he's trying to get justice. At the same time, Elijah Cotton is out dealing with some family issues. And so while he's there, Kia is trying to go ahead and make some business moves.
yeah,
She's trying to take over this neighborhood that the kid was from. But the murder potentially hinders her plans. And so now Zion and Kia are on opposite sides. So we're not even just seeing you know, how the community feels about Zion, but now it's like, look, Kia's trying to make power moves,
hmm,
and Zion's out here with a conscience, and it's just like, yo, like that's now they're button heads.
yeah, yeah,
And you actually
yeah,
see some of that, uh, the foundation for that in volume one,
Hmm.
through conversation between Kia and her brother. Uh, you see that, okay, Kia is actually, trying to uh, develop her own lane, I guess you could say, or her own identity. She doesn't want to break away from the Cottons like Zion did. She wants
Hmm.
to she wants to be a Cotton, but also hey, I developed this.
Yeah.
And you see sort of the seeds being planted in volume one. And then you get to see the fruition, come through in volume two with Kia making big moves while her parents are out of town in Japan, handling business. So this is the beauty about volume two too, is that you get to see some of the rest of the world,
Mhm.
another piece of the world, and how the African culture actually influence other parts of the world.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's dope.
And that's what
That's
volume two is really, uh, that's what the Keshinomis in volume one were about. They're the springboard to the expansion of the BCU. And so in
mm,
volume two, we get to dive into that even more. And volume two really becomes a larger world gathering of
mm,
what BCU is. And like P said, the African influence. Just to jump back quick, when I got on, you used an interesting word where you said that in referencing issue 4 back in volume 1, you used the word how the weight of the machine was on Elizabeth. And it was
mm,
interesting because, of course, the title of that issue was Rage against like against the machine. Like
mm,
it's from that poem. And it really is interesting because in volume 2, we're continuing this idea of this machine, and it is a machine. And
mm.
it's a machine that works in our world, and there's a machine that works in this world as well. And if you're keen enough to see it, one of the perspectives could be is that it does not matter, what race, is a part of this machine or driving this machine or it's in the passenger seat with this machine, but it's the machine that keeps moving.
Right.
And that machine has certain players that attaches to that machine that uses it to its advantage, but you also have those who are constantly up against the machine or have the weight of the machine on them. And that's one of the key things that you will see even more in volume 2 as we deal with white on white crime and how that affects, um, you know, lower income places and
Mm.
the minority groups. So,
Yeah,
which
that
also includes the Keshinomis, because they are biracial,
mm,
so they are a minority group.
that's interesting. And it's got me speculating, right? Like just how far are we gonna see the effects, right? Because of course the real world parallels colonialism, right? We see the influence of Europe and Western culture like everywhere. Like there are people in Africa wearing suits right now, right? And so with the Keshinomis, and with the world traveling that we're gonna see, I'm now excited to see, okay, what exactly does that standard look like from that perspective? So that's really cool. Let me shout out some of these comments here. Geek Collector says that Kia cover sexy. My man
Yeah.
my man Skip is here. What's up, Skip, man? It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're able to watch.
So,
Um, Bunkmaster B said that was a dope trailer, and Tim agrees.
uh,
Hey, you see James? I agree with James.
Oh yes, sir. Black Cotton, brilliant, love it, and the concept of that reality. On a side note, need more Vineyard as well.
I
Yes.
appreciate you, James. Thanks.
I've been hounding him for some more vineyard.
Uh, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Or and so yeah, so guys, if you guys are just tuning in, um, we are talking to Patrick Foreman and Brian Hawkins of Black Cotton fame. Today, they've launched the Kickstarter for Volume 2 of Black Cotton. So you're gonna get issues 1 and 2 of Black Cotton Volume 2, which is entitled White on White Crime. Um,
Hey.
And so the Kickstarter is live now. We've got about 30 days to go. We've got 27 backers already. Let me refresh this page because honestly, it might have grown during the stream. All right, so we got 27 backers. We're about a third of the way through to the $3,500 goal to get this book funded, which I know that's got to feel good to you guys, fellas.
Oh, that's
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
it's cool. I mean, just a moment to just embrace what Kickstarter is about. You know, this is one of the things I really, 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 really love a lot about independent comics is the Kickstarter platform and how, you know, it's directly linked to comic book enthusiasts, you know, to those who want to see good stories, you know, put out into the world. And, you know, it's amazing that this comic book community in this part of the industry exists to where there are some stellar books. There's professional books that's being put out, you know, every day through Kickstarter. You have comic book companies, right, who use the direct market, who go through Kickstarter first. Shout out to Boom Studios to put stuff out. Skybound has done it. You know, Vault has done it. Scout does it. You know, and it's not that they have legitimized it because it was already legit before then, but it's just a testament to what independent comics has become and what we're all a part of. And when I say we, I'm talking about creators. I'm talking about those that back. I'm talking about the collective whole. All of us doing this together, iron sharpening iron, and that's what's exciting. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, we wanted to bring Volume 2 to Kickstarter first. And not directly into the stores because we wanted to be a part. We wanted Black Cotton to be a part of this awesomeness that is Kickstarter, this awesomeness that is independent comics, even outside of a publisher. It was actually how we were going to run Volume 1, but Scout ended up picking us up, and we're totally thankful for that.
Shout out to Scout.
Absolutely, and we're thankful to have the opportunity through them still to take this route, but still be able to also put the book out through a direct market at a later date, and being able to offer, you know, backers and supporters here something different with Volume 2 than what would be in the store. So it's an amazing thing for real.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's one of my favorite parts about the Kickstarters is it gives the community a chance to rally around the titles they want to see. You know, in all corners of the world and political spectrums or whatever, right? You're seeing people like, you know what? I'm not going to wait for the machine. I'm not going to wait for the big two. Here's a story that I want out in the world. And if I can get enough people to support me, we can make it happen. And I don't care if 1 million people don't read it, as long as the people that really want it get a chance to get it. So I think that's dope that you have this option to go through Kickstarter, sort of reward the fans, this sort of cult following that you guys have grown over the last 2 years, and also provide an experience that they can't get anywhere else, right? Like some of these prizes, Black Cotton instrumentals, I'm not getting those if I walk into the comic shop.
No.
You know, so you've got digital packages, you've got physical books, of course. There are exclusive variants like this cover. That's a brand new cover for Volume 1, right?
Right.
Because my Volume 1 don't look like that. So now now I'm conflicted because I'm like, dang, I own the story, but I don't have that one. So now I gotta pay a little bit more, grab that one too, right? But then you got variant covers. So all the different things that you see you know, mainstream comics doing to sort of you could argue is to inflate their numbers. You know, we get to do that, and as collectors, we get to consume the way we want to consume, and we don't have to wait for like some store to say, yeah, this is a 1 in 50 variant. Like, nah, I'm gonna grab it right now, support these brothers directly, and get, you know, the perks of doing so.
Right.
Well,
so and you hit it right on the head, because that's what I was going to mention, is that me and Brian, we really, you know, we were talking about it, and we said we need to get this to our people. You know, first we need to get this to our people. They've waited long enough, so let's give it to them. Let's bang it and do not one, at a time, but let's do 2 issues at a time. Let's give them more, and let's, let them read it first. Those hardcore fans, here you go. Here's your opportunity to read it before the rest of the world gets it, and also get what the rest of the world will never see. Not in the shelves.
Right.
These covers will never be, in the stores,
Right.
because they don't go through the stores. These covers will only be here. So yeah, giving it to the people and giving it to them special.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, one thing I haven't even touched on is there's a preview here for Remember.
Oh yeah.
What is Remember?
Remember is it's going to be the first story that's going to come out through BCU, which is Black Kind Universe, which is me and Brian, with our still Black Kind team. But we also brought in some other people too, like Damian Beckham. We brought him in, phenomenal writer, phenomenal, just gifted. Marcelo Santana, who has done cover artwork, and he's the colorist for Black Kind. He's actually the illustrator and the colorist for Remember. Remember is the first story, that my mentor right there, Brian Hawkins, we were talking one day and I was like, bro, I got this concept, that I really want to do. I ran it by him, and point blank, being the all right, Marco.
Peace.
Being the true mentor that he is, he was like, hey, you should go ahead and do it. Run it out. This will be your first project. And he just basically, he's the editor, for Remember. And he just basically, guided me through the whole process. And I'm telling you right now, it's a phenomenal story. It is a true, what we would call, I'm taking these words from Marcelo Santana. When he read the script, he said, this is a true revenge story. So it is it's a crime thriller. It's nothing like Black Kind, meaning, thought-provoking, sort of flip. This one is present, in the world that we're in now. But it is a true crime thriller. What you have is you have 2 female cops, and the heads, I would say the stars in this story are all females. 2 female cops, the killers are female, and the villains are female. You have 2 female cops who are investigating this family who, for the past 2 years, they've basically been getting plucked off, being killed off, and they are constantly a step behind. Well, we also find out that one of the cops, Halea, is kin to that family. So she's heavily invested in all of these killings that are happening. What we also learn is that the killer, the only way the killer is being contacted is through letters. So the question is Halea and Amy going to be able to catch up with this killer who is receiving their instructions through letter form in time before the killer gets to her?
That is bringing up all the Criminal Minds vibes.
There you go. Yeah. That's a great analogy right there. Or yeah.
My wife will watch
one of my
show.
favorite shows.
Yeah, my wife loves Criminal Minds, so I've seen so much of that show, and that's what this reminds me of. So that's dope. That's dope. So I just want to echo something you said, right? So it's BCU Presents just because a lot of the team behind Black Cotton is present for this book as well, but this is not set in that reverse social order landscape. Like, this is just another book kind of just spinning out of, I guess you would call it a publishing initiative by you guys.
Yes.
A brand, yeah. Yeah.
It's the first one because here's what I'll tell people. Me and Brian been working hard. And, you know, even though Black Cotton Volume 2 is just coming out, it's not that we took a hiatus and
Right.
wasn't doing anything. Remember, we started last June, and you're seeing the finished product. It's 74 pages. You're not getting issues.
Yeah.
It's gonna come through Kickstarter in June. It's a full graphic novel. You get the whole story, 74 pages. That's the first one coming out. Me and Brian, we got another one coming out called Darts. We got, you know, Brian already has America's Kingdom. He also has LLP, you know, Lover, Lunatic, and Poet. We also working on something called Just Ass, and what's the other title, Brian?
So it's called All You Have to Do Is Ask, but we're gonna have two titles. So one is All You Have to Do Is Ask, but the other title is Just Fucking Ask.
And I'm telling you, that one,
Yeah,
good
crazy.
Lord, it's another masterpiece. So you're gonna see a lot of things come through. We got, you know, our publicist, not our publicist, our PR guy, Joey, you know, Geek Collective. We teamed up with him. So you're going to be seeing Kickstarter. All of these things going to come through so that the people can get it. And I guarantee you're going to be thoroughly pleased because we got a phenomenal team. We working hard. We bring products to you that is on another level. And the Black Cotton team, good Lord, it is a phenomenal, just some very talented individuals.
For sure.
That's dope. So we're gonna get into the rewards, but real quick, behind the scene has a question for Brian. He says, "Will the Vineyard get a trade release? Because that's one of the best horror comics I've read."
Oh wow, that means a lot. Thank you so much. On behalf of the whole team, you know, shout out to Jason Wordy, Taylor Esposito, Sammy Cavella, the whole team from Aftershock. So thank you for that. Yes, it will. It's slated to come out in July. The trade will come out in July.
That's what's up. Well, that means that's got to be in previews by now. Let's look.
It should be. I think it is actually.
All right.
Yo, Geek Collective. What's up, Joey? Black Cotton.
Yeah, that was in the April previews.
Okay. Here we go.
And it'll be in shops on June 7th.
Oh, June 7th. Okay.
Nice.
I'm a month behind.
Word.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's up. All right. So now, Geek Collective says, "Yo, Black Cotton, sir."
Black Cotton.
So I'm going to get into these Kickstarter rewards. Now, you guys can see a preview of Volume 2 or Issue 1 and 2. Now, when we say Issue 1 and 2, are these going to be two physical issues or is it one double-sized issue?
It's one double size.
Okay.
But they will be, it's Issue 1 and 2, but it's one issue for the Kickstarter. So we've combined. So yeah, we've just combined Issue 1 and 2 to make one issue.
Got you. So it'll be one physical book.
Yes.
And then potentially you're saying the direct market release will be separate issues.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
But when it come through the stores, we're gonna have some probably a little special in there. Okay. You know, some back matter or something, you know, a little special up in there that people you're gonna want to get because it's gonna fill in the blanks.
Got you. Okay. So right here, we're looking at these colors, and remind me the name of the colorist.
Oh, Marcelo Santana Jr.
Marcelo is killing it on these colors. Marco's art is already great, but you see like just the dimension that the color adds, the backgrounds, the shading helps add a little bit of depth. So that's dope. But now let's look at these rewards. So everybody that backs on the first day and backs at least $10 is going to get a signed Remember Ash can. Is that? Yeah. You get a physical ash can, and you get a digital copy of the double issue for volume 2, issues 1 and 2, and a digital download of the Black Cotton instrumentals, which I feel left out. I didn't even know there were instrumentals. So Patrick, this is you on the instrumentals?
Yeah. You know, I put out music, so I told Brian, why not? Why not? Give them some instrumentals to play while they read.
That's what's up. Ross says he's been calling people bindos ever since this week. That was terrible.
It is what it is. That is hilarious.
So you back at $12, you'll get the digital double issue, digital ash can, digital download of the instrumentals. There's an early bird tier where you can get the physical standard cover and then digitals of everything else for just $16. How long is that early bird? What does that expire?
48 hours.
Okay. So first 2 days, you got to jump on these to get these deals. There's the $17 early bird where you get the instrumentals, and then you get also included a digital copy of volume 1. So this is basically everything you need to get caught up digitally for just $17 if you back within the first 48 hours. In the first 48. But yeah, so that's dope. And then there's physical copies, so you get the physical double issue, and then digital copies of everything else. You get the Kia variant cover, which apparently is going to be a hot commodity. Because my man Geek Collector is like, yo, I need that.
Yeah. Shout out to Francesco Tomaselli. He did the art for that.
Yeah.
Dope. Zoom in a little bit.
And people, it's crazy. People go crazy over Kia. The first cover that we did for issue number 1 of Kia sold out in, what was it, less than 2 days?
It was
600 copies just flew.
Yeah.
And, people love Kia. So why not bring another, Kia special?
Right.
Kia
Cotton variant. And then digital copies of everything as well. And then there's at the $25, you can actually get a new print version of volume 1 of Black Cotton. Digitals for everything else, but that's a new exclusive cover. That I'm gonna have to grab. I'm gonna have to grab that.
Cool. Make it happen.
So with 33, you've got the volume 2. You got a hollow foil cover for that double issue, which that's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marco Perugini. He did the cover for that one.
Got you. Yeah, that's dope. And you still get all your digital copies as well. And if you want both variants, then just back at the $45 level, and you'll get both of the variant covers. And if you want all 3 covers, the 2 variants and the cover A, this is also by Marco.
Yes.
Yep.
That's $55. So you'll get physical, all 3 covers, plus digital downloads of everything else. And then if you just want to get even more exclusive, got another Kia Cotton cover, although this one is a metal variant. And if you haven't seen the metal variants that Scout Comics does, I've got one for Metal Shark Bro. And it's dope. It's dope. It's definitely a display piece. Like, I'm afraid to even open mine. I did open it, but it's like this sort of heavy piece of like sheet metal with a picture on it, and it's kind of glued to the front cover of the book. And I've never seen anything like it before, but it's awesome.
Nice.
And this like sort of gunmetal with the gold laser engraving, like that's gonna be great to see in person. So $100 gets you that.
Yeah, shout out to Marcelo Santana. He did that sketch. I just shot him a note one day because Marco is in Italy, Marcelo is in Brazil. So I shot Marcelo a note. I was like, "Yo, man, uh, can you do a sketch of Kia?" He was like, "Yeah, give me a day," and
Yeah.
he sit back.
He works some
Wow,
magic, man. He works some magic for sure.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine. So yeah, so that the $100 gets you that, and my man Bunkmaster Bees is saying those medals are not for reading.
No, they're not.
Absolutely, it's definitely a display piece.
yeah.
Um, but you also get the black cotton art print, an 8x11 black
Yeah.
cotton art print. And then $125 gets you a bunch of digital copies of books. And then you get a physical copy of the black cotton script, and it's signed 4 times. So who all is signing it besides you two?
The Marco and
Mhm.
Marcelo too.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
that's the reason why that one has a August, delivery because we
Gotcha.
got sent
Yes,
to
it will.
Italy and Brazil.
Got to ship that around the world to get it signed. That's what's
Right.
up, man. And then for $250, you get the early bird book bundle. So that's getting you digital copies of the double issue for volume 2, but also physicals of the standard cover. It's basically, well, that's every cover. That's
Yeah, it's everything.
every variant.
Okay.
Oh, it's all of it. It's basically everything we've talked about,
Yep.
even the metal cover
Yeah.
and the art print. Okay. And all digital files. And that's the early bird book bundle. So this is 48 hours only, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then so after this 48 hours passes, you got to pay 280. So
Right.
take advantage, get that $30 discount, get every physical item plus
Yeah.
all the digital downloads. Like that. That's the bundle you're going to want if you're the collector. And then for 500, for like some stretch bonuses, for 500 you can be drawn into Black Cotton. Now if you pay the 500, do you get to choose what kind of character you're gonna be? Like, do I have to be a cop if I get drawn in?
Nah, nah.
So that could be a discussion
Mm,
because where you'd be drawn in at would be we are going into art for issue 3,
okay.
so it would be between issue 3 and 4. So the script, we're finalizing the script. The script for 3 is finalized.
Okay.
The script for 4 is not finalized. The story's done, but we can still make tweaks to
Mm,
4. So whoever gets in on this, it'll be between 3 and 4, and we can have a conversation.
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
definitely.
That's what's
And
up.
and,
So
and I think I think they gonna love where we're gonna put them.
word. So yeah, 500 gets you that whole every book bundle, all the digital files, and a chance to be drawn into Black Cotton. And then any of the items we talked about above can also be purchased as add-ons. So man, there's a lot of meat on these bones. Like you guys really, I'll leave it right here. But you guys really are taking advantage of this collect. It's not taking advantage. It sounds exploitative, but you guys are really going hard for the collectors, for the
Yeah,
audience, right?
Yeah,
Like this wasn't just like, all right, hey, help us make this book. It's like, nah, like let's reward the fans and give them something to talk about, give them something to really rally behind. That's dope.
yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I would have to say that Pat he is a phenomenal curator
Mhm.
of art, and so he is on top of it, left and right. Just shout out to what he does, and like an art director. He's like an art director.
Right, right. I mean, you'd have thought this was a dynamite project.
And Joey has been significant in all of this. Our PR guy, and putting everything together. Jerry Nielsen on graphic designs. It's just a great team. Everyone just finds their places and just we just build together. It's so cool.
Right, word,
It
word.
really is. It really is. And here's what I'll say
Huh?
is that the beauty about me and Brian as a team is I'm a collector at heart, you know. So I'm always thinking with a collector's mindset. And Brian, he's a reader. He's a true avid, comic book reader. And so he's always thinking about the reader, their experience. So we work so well together because we sort of touch, those bases, those both areas, which are so important. And we want to make sure that both areas have a great experience.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it shows. It really does. So you guys can back this campaign. The link is actually the first link in the description of this video. Just go to bjkicks.link/blackcotton. It'll take you straight to the Kickstarter page. My man Buckmaster B says Kick's about to drop the bag after talking all about Black Cotton. Is about to be in Black Cotton.
Come on.
Listen, man. That's a stretch goal for real. So we need some super chats. We need some channel memberships. We need all that to make that happen. But yeah, man. My man Charles is here. What's up, Charles? He's late, but he's here.
Hey, Charles.
So Charles,
Black Cotton.
Black Cotton.
You've missed quite an epic episode, but it's all here on the replay. But we are launching officially the Kickstarter for Volume 2 of Black Cotton.
Yeah.
Volume 2, White on White Crime. We are getting a double-sized issue 1 and 2. And what's funny is I'm gonna leave this with the trailer. We'll watch the trailer in a little bit, but there's 29 days to go. We're about a third of the way through to the goal. So you guys are showing out. But look, the work's not done yet.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah, no problem. But if you guys want to back this project, like, don't snooze. You still got about a day left to get to some of these early bird specials, so you can save a couple of dollars just by being among the first to back, in the first 2 days of the campaign. But man, so many perks, so many rewards. Patrick really made sure that the collectors here get, their fair share. They get some really awesome incentives, right? You can get a signed script. You can get a metal.
It was only 5 of those that we made available, and one's already gone. So it's only 4 left.
Man. So get on them. Get on them. So yeah, this add-on menu is insane. That Kia Cotton metal cover is dope. The regular Kia Cotton cover, I'm just enamored by this Volume 1, this new exclusive cover. And it looks like it might even wrap around. Does it? Or am I just...
That one doesn't wrap around.
Okay.
Now, here, since
No. I know where you're going, P. Don't even do it. Don't even do it.
All I was gonna say.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. But you definitely want to stay watching us throughout this entire Kickstarter.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Right.
You might miss something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say no more though.
Okay. No spoilers.
Oh
man.
He's on a roll with spoilers today, Joe. He's on a roll.
Yo. I told him I knew how Snowfall ended, but then, man, poor Brian.
I know now too. We all know.
Right. And I only know because
about Philadelphia too now.
Yeah, man. It's the ending of Snowfall has been all over the place with people, upset about how it ended. So
man.
I saw that, but I have no intentions of watching 6 seasons of a TV show anyway. So I was indifferent. Brian's
what are you
like
talking about? Criminal Mind had 16.
See, that's my wife. She'll watch Criminal Mind.
Speaking of Criminal Minds, Is she watching the new one?
The Evolution?
Is it on Peacock?
No, it's on Paramount.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Paramount
I
Plus.
don't think so.
Oh, she
I don't
got to
think
get
so.
on that because it's the same writing team.
Okay.
See that's my thing. I Criminal Minds my show.
Uh-huh.
I love it to death. Now, if you a hardcore, Criminal Mind person, you also remember that Forrest Whitaker, had his own unit too. They tried to do a spinoff.
Yeah, they did.
And it sucked. it horribly sucked. And nothing against Forrest Whitaker. Oh, he did a phenomenal job. The problem is the other actors and actresses couldn't act on his level. You got a cat who is acting way up here, and they're trying, so it was unbelievable.
Right.
And they didn't have the same writing crew that they had on the original.
Yeah.
So it sucked horribly. I think they probably what they should have done is like what you saw with Ice-T, LL Cool J, Lawrence Fishburne. They weren't the star. They were the supporting, and it worked, in those capacity. If they had put Forrest Whitaker as a supporting role and pushed up somebody else, I think it might have worked.
Word.
Bumpy.
I don't know, man.
Rodney Barnes, going back to Philadelphia, Rodney is killing the scene. Shout out to Rodney doing everything. One day, hopefully, we get to sit at a table and just have a conversation with him. That's one of my bucket list wishes. That we just get to sit with Rodney Barnes and just sort of, hey, whatever advice or whatever conversation he give us, that'd be a true blessing because he is killing the scene.
Word. The series I've been on from Rodney is Monarch. It's relatively new. You been reading it?
Yeah.
I caught the first one.
Issue 3 is out now. I haven't read issue 3 yet.
Me either.
Yeah.
Read 1 and 2 though.
Bunk says Kicks out here talking BCU about Criminal Minds after talking to Jeff Thorne about Heat of the Night. Kicks creator interviews give a blueprint. No, listen, man. You can't interview a star of In the Heat of the Night and not ask questions about In the Heat of the Night. My grandma would have killed me if I didn't ask Jeff Thorne about being Officer Sweet. So I had to do that. But yeah, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this campaign. I'm grateful for you fellas for coming on and allowing me to host the launch party, like little old me.
Hey.
But
thanks for doing it. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. No problem, man. No problem, man.
Yeah.
So Black Cotton Volume 2 is basically out, or the Kickstarter is out right now. Geek Collector says we can say we have a secret variant dropping. That's not a spoiler. Okay.
Do we?
We do.
I don't know. Do we?
Do
I don't know what.
Stay tuned to the campaign. Get your early bird pledges. Get your early bird pledges in. If there is a secret variant dropping, you'll be able to add it to your cart as an add-on. So don't feel like you got to hold out on your pledge. Go ahead and lock in your early birds and stuff now. And when the campaign ends, you'll be able to do your add-ons through Backer Kit and all that. So, if there were to be some sort of a secret variant,
Here's what I'll say. I'll say No. I was just gonna say, they probably should stay tuned to us, stay tuned to you, because if there is a secret variant, you'll probably know, and
for sure, I'll certainly announce it here. So now before I let you guys go, I want to show this trailer off one more time in case the audience missed it. So let's do it. Listen, man. Listen. It's police procedural. It's got all the action. It's in living color. Like, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited. I haven't seen it. They know what's happening. They've read it. They've seen the art. They know what we're getting. All I've seen is these previews, and I'm excited.
Awesome.
So, but before I let you guys go, where can they find you? Where should they be tuned in to get more information about Black Cotton?
I'll go first. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Definitely on IG, Black Cotton Comic. On Facebook, Black Cotton Comic. On Twitter, Patrick D. Foreman. On let me see what else we got. LinkedIn, Patrick D. Foreman. Shoot. Yeah. We got a website too, blackcottoncomic.com. So if you just Google Black Cotton Comic, or if you're on IG and you look up Black Cotton Comic, you'll find us.
That's right. Black Cotton Comic is it, and Brian Hawkins writes. Anything on social media, Brian Hawkins writes, I'll probably pop up.
Word. Well, again,
all right,
gentlemen,
Kevin,
I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to all of you guys in the audience for sticking around. This is a double-sized hangout. So, man, I appreciate it. Oh, he said he's gonna drop something on it. Okay, he's great. He's in. He's on back.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, follow the link in the description of this video. You can back Black Cotton Volume 2 right now. It's day 1. Get your early bird specials in. You only got about a day left to do that. And stick around for more announcements.
And forgot on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Just look up my name, Patrick Foreman, and you'll see BCU pop up.
Okay.
Black Cotton Universe. You definitely want to link up with us. Also, look up Brian Hawkins and also Geek Collective, because those 3 platforms you will see, Black Cotton come out of. You will also see Black Cotton Universe, all our spinoffs, all of our new product coming out. Don't sleep, because some masterpieces are about to unfold and just take off.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna get through this project. The Remember Kickstarter, you said that's gonna launch in June. There's other stuff coming along too. So I'm excited to see what's coming out of the BCU. Because the first time we talked, you hinted at a BCU. Now we're seeing the products of it. This is dope.
Thank you.
Well, look, y'all.
Excited.
Absolutely. So again, I appreciate you fellas for joining. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Charles, Kev, Bunk, Skip was here for a little bit. Thanks, everyone. And look, until next time, man, stay awesome and make sure you read something dope.
Yeah, read something dope. I like that.
Appreciate you, BJ.
Appreciate you, brother.
Black Cotton.
Black Cotton.